Hello everyone, and welcome to a short video on assessment and reporting. Now, during this video, I'm going to talk through the reports that we get. Each student will get one of these 6 times per year, so once per term. And we'll also talk about the Key Stage 3 cumulative assessments, and I'll take each of these in turn. We'll also mention the mock exams that students will get as well if they're in Key Stage 4 and 5. So the progress report, what that looks like. Now, you will have seen this before. A number of you will have seen this if you've got children in years 8 or above. And what it is, it takes each term in order. So you can see this one has been completed for term 1. And each child will get a report for academic progress, attitude to learning, and homework. And each of these is graded accordingly. So it'll either be exceptional, good, requires improvement, or unsatisfactory. And I'll talk about what that looks like on the next slide. So just so you can see where I'm talking about here, you can see the first column there, AP, is academic progress. And this particular student here has got a combination of excellence and goods for academic progress. Attitude to learning, that center column there, you can see again there's a combination of goods and excellence there. And then homework, so work completed out of school, you can see again there's some goods and excellence, but there is an R for science, and I'll come back to that on a later slide. So what do those actually mean then? So this is also provided with every termly report, so you won't have to try and memorize this. This is there for your reference. So we'll take academic progress as an example. So if your child gets an E or exceptional, that means your child is working above expectations in that particular subject. They're demonstrating rapid development in terms of knowledge, skills, and or application. Then that goes on to good. So again, exactly the same, that your child is working in line with expectations rather than above. R is room for improvement, so they're not consistently working in line with expectations. Or U, unsatisfactory, so that your child needs to make more progress and is not reaching the standards that are expected in that particular lesson. So you've got those for academic progress, attitude to learning, and independent study or homework. But you've also see there in the top left, attendance, and you'll receive a percentage score for your child's attendance. So if they are above at 98%, then they have outstanding attendance, all the way down to below 90%, which is deemed as unsatisfactory. And if you have attendance below 90%, a member of the pastoral team will already have been in contact with you. You can see down the bottom right as well, we'll also give you the number of reward points that your child has accrued over the term and over the year, but also the behaviour points as well. So the assessment cycle for Key Stage 3 then, so that's 7, 8 and 9. We'll have throughout the term in all subjects, there'll be regular testing, and that will be recall tests at the start of most lessons, as well as mid-term or weekly or monthly tests as well, to identify what students know, what they don't know, and that can then be used to inform future planning and future lessons to make sure the students are gaining the key knowledge that they need to. There'll also be those termly tests at the end of each term in most subjects, where they'll be able, teachers will identify common strengths and misconceptions, which can then be used to inform reteaching the following term. And then you can see the example there of term 3, which I've already mentioned, the cumulative assessments, and that's identifying the cumulative knowledge and understanding that has been built up over time. So what that looks like for a year group then, so in term 1 and 2 there'll be regular topic testing in class. In term 3 they'll have that cumulative assessment, where it will be what has been learned in terms 1 and 2. Then they'll continue with topic testing in terms 4. Then term 5, there'll be another cumulative assessment, and that will be a combination of things learned not only in terms 1 to 4, but potentially from previous years as well for those students who are in year 8 and 9. And then term 6 continues with the topic testing. This is an example of the cumulative assessment report that you'll get in terms 3 and 5. So this is the same student that we saw that example on a previous slide. And what you'll see on each of these, there's a percentage achieved column. And the cumulative assessment is an in-class test based on knowledge that's been covered in those lessons. And you will receive this report in addition to the termly reports that we've already seen, and you'll get 2 of these per year. And as I also said, this could include cumulative knowledge that's been in previous terms, but also previous years. So the percentage achieved column is the result that your child achieved in a given subject. And it's not expected that a child will receive 100% in any cumulative assessment, as these tests are designed to be challenging. We want full concentrations in lessons and with homework, and that will make sure that the children do succeed. So you take this one example, you can see the child has achieved 72% in English, they've achieved 67% in maths and 43% in science. The next column along is the average class percentage. And this is included to give an indicator of where your child is in relation to their peers. And it can be used to identify whether or not your child is working at the expected level in a given lesson, but it shouldn't be taken as a direct indicator of effort or attitude. And as I said earlier, refer to the previous report where you can look at attitude to learning to give you a bit more clarity on what this means. But if we look carefully here at this one, you can see this particular child has achieved above the class percentage in English. They've achieved above the class percentage in maths, but they have achieved below the class percentage in science. And I made reference to that on the previous slide. And we saw that they've been given an R for homework. So it could be interpreted then that this child could have achieved in line with the class average or above, were they to engage a little bit more in science homework. So that's Key Stage 3. Obviously, we've got Key Stage 4 and 5. And this is in a similar way, they have ongoing assessments linked to the exam specifications. And there'll be regular assessments going on that same Key Stage 3 will inform planning, intervention, and support that takes place. And they'll have a number of mock exams. Now, for these mock exams, you can see when they take place there. So Year 10s will have them in the summer term. Year 11s will have them in February. Year 12s have them in April, and then Year 13s have them in November and March. And what these aren't used to generate a GCSE grade, but they are used to identify what students know, what they don't know, and inform our next steps in terms of teaching and assessment, so we can make sure the students get every opportunity to know as much as they possibly can. And we'll communicate these with you in the same way that cumulative assessments are reported to you, and you'll get some raw marks, and we'll also identify and tell the students what they need to do to improve in the future. As always, we want to make sure we stay in contact with you and give you as much information as we possibly can. You'll see there on this is a screenshot of the school website. And if you click that contact button, you'll be able to find links to all of the pastoral teams from Year 7 through to Year 13. So you can contact pastoral teams. One thing that we will be doing following each of these reports as well, if your child receives an R or a U in 5 or more subjects, you'll be receiving an additional letter outlining the support we want to offer to make sure that your child can achieve the best that they can in every subject. If you have any questions, please contact someone at the school, either through the pastoral teams or through the main receptions. Thank you very much for your time. Take care.